Stop chasing approval. Start making her chase your calm now. If you are like most men, you gave attention first, explained second, and apologized third. You texted when you were unsure, you overtalked on dates, and you tried to fill every quiet moment so she would not drift. You worked hard to be liked and still felt invisible. Inside, you know this is backward. The men women remember do not sell themselves. They stand still inside and the room leans toward them. Here is the shift. Women do not get addicted to looks or lines. They get addicted to energy. Calm confidence anchors her nervous system and sparks her curiosity at the same time. Playful silence lets her come forward. Selective attention makes her earn your focus. Detachment keeps you from chasing and protects your value. When you put these pieces together, she feels safe, turned on, and drawn in without you pushing. In this video, I will show you 10 clear moves that you can use today. Each one is simple, realistic, and grounded in Stoicism and psychology. You will learn how to hold your frame, how to tease and pause, how to read her energy, and how to leave at the peak so she misses you. If you are serious about becoming the man she cannot forget, subscribe now and stay with me. Let's get into it. Number 1. She craves your calm, not your words. Most men think women fall for what they say, the compliments, the sweet talk, the late-night confessions. But that's not what gets under her skin. What she really craves is your energy, the calm, grounded presence that makes her feel safe and intrigued at the same time. She's not addicted to your words. She's addicted to how she feels when you're around and how she misses that feeling when you're gone. Let me show you how this plays out. Mark, 48, runs a landscaping business in Colorado. He's solid, hardworking, and proud of how he treats people. A year after his divorce, he met Hannah, 46, a real estate agent with a confident smile and sharp instincts. Their chemistry was instant. At first, Mark was himself, relaxed, funny, easygoing. But as soon as he realized he really liked her, something shifted. He started overthinking every text, every pause, every silence. When Hannah didn't respond right away, he'd send another message. When she seemed distant, he'd ask what was wrong. The more he tried to connect with words, the more she pulled away. Then one evening, his friend told him something simple. You talk too much when you're nervous. Let her feel your calm instead. That night, Mark changed everything. He stopped explaining, stopped chasing, stopped trying to fill the quiet. The next time they met, he just listened. He smiled, made eye contact, and didn't rush to fill the gaps in conversation. Something shifted again, but this time in her. She leaned in closer, asked him questions, and touched his arm first. The silence that used to scare him started working for him. That's the psychology behind calm energy. It gives her space to feel, to imagine, to lean in. When you stay centered, you're signaling strength. She feels your presence as stability, and that's what builds both attraction and trust. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." That's the essence of masculine energy. You don't chase emotion, you contain it. Calmness doesn't mean coldness, it means control. It's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who leads. When Hannah later told Mark what made her come back, her words were clear. You stopped trying to convince me. You just made me feel peaceful. And that's exactly what women crave, not noise, not validation, but emotional safety inside your stillness. Here's the truth. In a world where everyone is overstimulated, calmness is rare and rarity is irresistible. A man who can hold himself steady when others panic becomes magnetic. You don't need to talk your way into her heart. You just need to master your presence. So when she gets quiet or pulls back, don't rush to fill the space. Sit in it. Let the silence breathe. She's not waiting for your next line, she's feeling your energy. And if that energy is calm, confident, and unshakable, she'll keep coming closer even if she doesn't understand why. Remember, calmness is not weakness. It's silent dominance. It tells her that your emotions belong to you, not to her approval. That's what separates the men she forgets from the one she can't stop thinking about. If you've ever seen how staying calm changed the whole energy between you and a woman, drop a comment below. I've seen this. Stick with me because this is just the beginning. Number 2. Control the game, make her play by your energy. Here's a truth most men don't like to hear. Every interaction between a man and a woman is a frame, a subtle contest of who leads the emotional rhythm. Either she pulls you into her frame or you invite her into yours. The man who controls the energy controls the game. But this control isn't about manipulation or dominance. It's about being so grounded in your calm that she naturally aligns with it. When you walk into a conversation trying to impress her, you've already lost the frame. When you mirror her mood, chase her tone, or react to every emotional swing, you're letting her energy set the rhythm. Women don't consciously want that. Deep down, they want to feel your steadiness, your ability to slow the pace, lower the emotional volume, and create a space where they can relax. Stoicism calls this emotional governance. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That includes your reactions, your tone, and your emotional timing. The minute you let her dictate your pace, you surrender that mastery. But when you hold your ground, when you answer slowly, move deliberately, and choose silence over panic, she starts following your rhythm. That's when the polarity shifts. Think about how attraction actually builds. It's never about fast intensity, it's about controlled escalation. You're not matching her energy, you're guiding it. If she's playful, you smile but stay composed. If she's distant, you don't chase. You let her lean in again. If she's emotional, you stay grounded. Your calm becomes the anchor that steadies both of you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the surf crashes, yet it stands firm and tames the fury of the waves." That's the metaphor for a Stoic man in relationships. The surf is her emotion, passion, curiosity, frustration, excitement, all natural, all beautiful. Your job is not to fight the waves, but to remain the rock. The calmer you stay, the more her emotions shape themselves around you. Psychologically, this is powerful. When a woman feels your frame is stronger than hers, she relaxes. She feels safe to express herself without fear of losing respect for you. That's why women test men, not to create drama, but to find emotional boundaries they can trust. If you hold your energy, you pass every test without even realizing it. If you react, explain, or overcompensate, you fail quietly. The secret is subtlety. You don't need to tell her you're in control. You simply are. Speak slowly. Move less. Hold eye contact longer. Let silence fill the space between your words. Those micro-actions tell her nervous system that you are calm, and her body responds before her mind even catches up. That's how attraction works on a subconscious level. Control the energy, and you control the experience. The frame is never about dominance, it's about direction. You lead by example, not by pressure. She follows because your energy feels better than her chaos. Seneca once said, "He who controls himself is greater than he who conquers a city." Remember that. The game isn't about her emotions, it's about yours. Control your frame, and she'll naturally fall into it. If you've ever felt her start matching your pace the moment you stopped reacting, drop a comment below. I've felt that. Stay tuned. The next part shows how to make her crave your absence more than your attention. Number 3. Stop chasing, let her feel the absence. Most men destroy attraction, not because they don't care enough, but because they care too loudly. They chase, they text again, they explain themselves, they mistake movement for progress. But the truth is, attraction isn't built by constant attention, it's built by absence. When you stop chasing, you give her space to feel your value. Jason, 52, owns a small logistics company in North Carolina. After 20 years of marriage, he found himself back in the dating world and completely out of rhythm. He met Olivia, 48, a lawyer with a sharp mind and a confident air. At first, things moved fast. Long dinners, good chemistry, constant messaging. But the more she became part of his daily routine, the more restless she seemed. When she started taking longer to reply, Jason panicked. He began sending longer texts, trying to prove he cared. Within weeks, she pulled away completely. One evening, a friend told him something that stuck. "You can't make someone miss you if you never leave." That hit hard. Jason realized he had erased the distance that creates desire. He decided to do something different. Nothing. No text, no calls, no checking her social media, just quiet focus. He poured his time back into his business, his workouts, his peace. For 2 weeks, nothing. Then one morning, a message from Olivia. "Hey, haven't heard from you. Are you okay?" That's not just curiosity, that's her feeling the absence. Here's what happened. His silence created contrast. Olivia's brain went from certainty to curiosity, and curiosity is what reignites attraction. The moment you stop being available, a woman's imagination takes over. She starts to wonder what changed. Did you lose interest? Did you meet someone else? That mental loop pulls her toward you, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul." That's what Stoic detachment means, not withdrawal but composure. You don't retreat to punish, you retreat to realign. You stop chasing because you understand your worth doesn't require pursuit. The more you focus on yourself, the more she feels the energetic shift. Women are highly sensitive to energy. When yours changes, she feels it before she sees it. The key is patience. Absence takes time to work. Most men give up after 2 days expecting instant results. But real attraction works like gravity. It builds quietly through consistency and restraint. The moment you reach out again too soon, you reset the balance. Your calm silence must outlast her curiosity. That's when the chase reverses. Jason told me later. When she came back, she acted like she'd been thinking about me every day. The funny thing is, I had stopped thinking about her. That's the paradox of power. The more you detach, the more you regain control over your energy, and that's exactly what she starts craving. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Her reaction is one of those things. Stop managing it. Manage yourself instead. So next time she pulls back, don't fill the space. Let her feel it. Keep living. Keep moving. Let silence do the chasing for you. When she feels the calm of your absence, she'll return not because you begged, but because she remembered how it felt to be around your peace. If you've ever seen someone return once you stopped chasing, drop a comment below. I've seen this. Stick with me, the next part shows how silence itself can turn her curiosity into obsession. Number 4. Silence turns her on. Most men talk their way out of attraction. They explain too much, reveal too soon, fill every silence like they're afraid of losing her interest. But silence, the right kind of silence, doesn't push her away. It pulls her in. It gives her mind something to chase, her imagination, something to build, and her body something to feel. Because when a man can sit in silence comfortably, he's saying one thing without words. I'm not afraid of space. You see, silence isn't emptiness, it's tension. And tension is what drives desire. When you stop trying to fill every gap, you create a subtle pressure between you and her. A pulse she can't quite name but can definitely feel. It's in the way you look at her and say nothing. It's in the pause before you answer a question. It's in the way you lean back instead of forward, letting her wonder what's behind your calm. Epictetus once said, "If you wish to be a writer, write. If you wish to be a philosopher, think. If you wish to be desired, be silent." Stillness is action. It's the most underrated form of communication because it lets her energy rise while yours stays steady. When you speak less, every word carries weight. When you pause longer, every glance becomes more meaningful. This isn't manipulation, it's mastery. Most men use words to seek validation. Stoic men use silence to create presence. The world is full of noise, notifications, endless chatter, shallow talk. So when a man can stay quiet, it feels magnetic. She starts to lean into that stillness, wondering what's behind it. The quiet between your words becomes charged. She begins to feel something she can't quite explain: respect, curiosity, attraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned from many sufferings. A man who's been through enough doesn't rush to prove himself. He's already done the talking in life. Now he lets the energy speak." That's what women pick up on. The calmness in your tone, the confidence in your stillness. It's a silent signal that you're not looking for approval. And that is deeply attractive. Here's how it works in real life. You ask her something meaningful, and then you stop talking. You don't fill the pause with jokes or nervous laughter. You let her answer, but more importantly, you let her feel your attention in the quiet that follows. That silence tells her that you're not performing, you're present. Psychologically, silence creates curiosity. The human mind hates open loops. When she can't read you, when she can't predict what you'll say next, she keeps thinking about you. That's the hook. You're not forcing attraction, you're allowing it to grow in the space you leave open. And here's where you separate yourself from every average man. You're not afraid to walk away quietly. You end a conversation on a high note, let her feel your absence, and give her something to miss. You leave her mind half full, not overfed. That's what keeps her coming back. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." That's the power of silence. It makes her imagine. It lets her fill in the blanks with emotion, and emotion is what keeps her hooked. If you want to master this energy, to use silence, presence, and emotional control to build true attraction, join our Stoic Men membership. Inside, you'll learn how to develop unshakable confidence, calm energy, and real masculine presence that draws women in effortlessly. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. New lessons drop every day to help you level up as a Stoic man. Because silence isn't weakness, it's power. And once you understand how to use it, you'll never have to chase again. Number 5. The man she can't emotionally control. Here's the truth. Most men don't realize when a woman can predict how you'll react, she loses respect. When she can trigger you, she loses attraction. But when you stay calm while she tests you, questions you, or even pulls back emotionally, something shifts inside her. She starts to feel your strength instead of hearing about it. And that's when desire begins. Ethan, 54, is a financial planner from Texas. He's been through a tough divorce and spent a few years rebuilding his confidence. Then he met Claire, 49, a passionate, outspoken artist who had no problem expressing her emotions. At first, things were great, spontaneous, exciting, full of spark. But as they got closer, the emotional tests started. When Ethan didn't reply right away, Claire would go cold. When he tried to discuss something calmly, she'd get defensive or withdraw completely. Old Ethan, the version still craving harmony, would have chased her down, tried to fix things, explained himself to death. But now he decided to handle it differently. Instead of reacting, he simply stayed quiet. When she pulled away, he didn't follow. When she accused him of being distant, he just said, "Maybe you're right," and smiled. That calm unsettled her at first. She wasn't used to a man who didn't bend under pressure. Within days, she reached back out. Her energy softened. She texted first. She initiated conversations. She even said, "I can't read you, and it drives me crazy." That's the reaction of a woman meeting emotional stability and realizing she can't control it. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." The Stoic man flips that truth on its head. He removes the hooks. He understands that emotional control isn't about repression, it's about awareness. You can feel everything but still choose your response. That self-mastery is what makes a man powerful. When a woman tries to provoke you consciously or not, she's testing for depth. She wants to see if your calm is real or if it collapses under emotion. If you react defensively, she feels she can move you. But when you remain unshaken, she feels something rare, respect mixed with desire. Your calm becomes the gravity in the relationship. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That means your peace isn't negotiable, you control it. When she's emotional, you breathe deeper. When she's cold, you stay warm. When she overreacts, you underreact. That contrast is magnetic. It turns chaos into chemistry. The key isn't to withdraw or play hard. It's to stay grounded, present, but not reactive. Women can sense that energy immediately. Your tone slows down. Your words shorten. You stop trying to win arguments and instead lead with peace. Ironically, that's when she starts following. Ethan told me later, "When I stopped reacting, everything changed. I stopped chasing emotional storms and she started calming down." That's the secret. You don't win by overpowering her emotions. You win by not letting them control you. Stoic men aren't emotionless. They're emotionally sovereign. That's what makes them irresistible. They provide something every woman craves, but rarely finds a man whose mood doesn't depend on hers. So the next time a woman tests you, remember she's not looking for weakness. She's looking for peace. And when she realizes she can't shake yours, she'll fall deeper into it. If you've ever stayed calm and watched the whole situation turn in your favor, drop a comment below. I've seen this. Let's keep going. The next part reveals how giving less attention can make her want you even more. Number 6. Give less, make her want more. Most men give too much too soon. Too much attention, too much reassurance, too much effort. They think generosity equals attraction. But in truth, overgiving kills mystery. And mystery is what fuels desire. The less she knows about your next move, the more she feels drawn to it. When you stop overfeeding her attention, she starts to crave your presence instead of your validation. This is a simple law of psychology. We value what feels rare. When your energy is everywhere, it loses power. When your focus is selective, it becomes precious. You don't need to give less love, you need to give it with discipline. The Stoics called this temperance, control over impulses, even good ones. Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." In relationships, that means every act of attention echoes far beyond the moment. A text you send, a call you make, a compliment you give, each one creates an emotional ripple. When you give too often, those ripples overlap and cancel each other out. When you give sparingly, each gesture hits deeper, lasts longer, and means more. The paradox is this: by giving less, you amplify her desire. When you pull back slightly, not out of arrogance but awareness, you invite her to participate. You shift the dynamic from you giving to her investing. That subtle change turns passive attraction into active pursuit. She begins to think about you first, text you first, wonder what you're doing when you're silent. The Stoics understood this on a deeper level. Epictetus wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In modern terms, that means stop trying to be understood all the time. Don't rush to explain why you're quiet or busy. Your restraint may confuse her at first, but confusion feeds curiosity, and curiosity builds desire. When you give less, you create space for imagination. Women fall for how a man makes them feel, not how much he gives. The absence of constant attention allows her mind to fill in the blanks, and her imagination will always paint a more exciting version of you than reality ever could. That's how fascination forms in the gaps between what she knows and what she wants to know. This doesn't mean playing games or withholding affection. It means managing your energy like a currency, spending it where it matters, saving it where it doesn't. You answer when it's time. You text when you have something real to say. You give compliments that sound earned, not automatic. That rhythm keeps your presence exciting rather than exhausting. Seneca said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." That's what happens when your attention has no boundaries. She stops feeling lucky to have it because it's always available. But when your energy is limited, when she feels it sometimes and misses it others, she becomes emotionally engaged. She starts investing. She starts chasing. Giving less isn't withholding, it's teaching her to value what she receives. It's the same principle that makes a luxury valuable. Scarcity creates worth. You're not cutting connection, you're controlling access. And that control builds power, not power over her, but power within yourself. Because in the end, she doesn't fall for the man who gives her everything. She falls for the man who gives just enough to make her want more. If you've ever noticed that pulling back made her lean in, drop a comment below. I felt that. Stay tuned, the next part will show why mystery, not information, keeps her addicted to your presence. Number 7. Mystery is the real aphrodisiac. Most men think the way to win a woman's heart is through full disclosure, telling her everything, opening up too fast, laying out every detail like a resume. But attraction doesn't work that way. The more she knows too soon, the less she feels. It's not secrets that make her addicted, it's mystery. What she doesn't know keeps her imagination alive, and her imagination is the most powerful aphrodisiac there is. Let me tell you how this plays out. Ryan, 56, a recently divorced architect in Chicago, started dating again after 2 decades of marriage. He met Melissa, 50, a yoga instructor with a curious mind and easy charm. On their first few dates, Ryan did what most men do. When they like someone, he overshared. He talked about his divorce, his plans, his feelings, even his fears. He thought vulnerability would make her trust him faster. Instead, the spark began to fade. After talking to a friend, Ryan decided to try a different approach. The next time they met, he said less. He smiled more. When she asked about his past, he gave short, honest answers, but he didn't fill every silence. He let her wonder. Suddenly, Melissa started asking more questions. She texted him first. She said, "You're kind of hard to read, I like that. That's the power of mystery." When she can't fully figure you out, she invests emotionally, trying to. Psychologists call this the curiosity gap, the tension between what we know and what we want to know. And women are especially sensitive to it in relationships. When you stay mysterious, not by hiding but by being selective, you create a constant sense of intrigue. She starts thinking about you between messages, replaying your words, analyzing your pauses. You become the puzzle she enjoys solving. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you reveal everything, you leave no color for her to imagine. Mystery lets her thoughts paint you in her mind. You become larger than life. That's why she can't stop thinking about you. It's not the facts you told her, it's the emotions she filled in on her own. Stoicism teaches restraint, not in love, but in expression. You don't rush to fill every question. You don't need to justify your quiet. A Stoic man doesn't fear being misunderstood. He trusts time to reveal truth. The less you reveal up front, the more value your words carry later. Each glimpse she gets feels earned, not given. Ryan noticed the difference almost immediately. The moment he stopped over-explaining, Melissa leaned closer literally and emotionally. He became the calm center she wanted to understand. And here's the irony, his mystery didn't make him distant. It made him magnetic. Seneca said, "To be interesting, be uncommon." In today's world where everyone overshares, online mystery is uncommon. That's why it's so attractive. A man who doesn't explain everything, who doesn't seek constant validation, becomes rare, and rarity breeds desire. But remember, mystery without substance is just confusion. The key is balance. You don't play games. You just reveal yourself slowly. Let her earn the layers. Let her curiosity pull her closer instead of pushing your story at her, Ryan told me later. Once I stopped trying to impress her, she started trying to understand me. That's what mystery does. It turns pursuit into polarity. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, stop, smile, let her wonder. Because the moment she starts imagining who you are, that's when she starts craving you. If you've ever noticed how holding something back made her chase harder, drop a comment below. I've seen this. Stay with me. The next part shows how your presence alone can make her feel weak in the best way. Number 8. Presence that makes her weak. There's a reason some men can walk into a room and shift the entire atmosphere without saying a word. It's not because they're the loudest or the best dressed, it's because of their presence. Real presence is quiet power. It's the ability to be fully where you are, completely in control of your energy, while everyone else scatters theirs around. That kind of focus doesn't just get noticed, it's felt. And for women, that feeling is intoxicating. Presence is more than confidence. It's depth. It's the unspoken message that says, I'm here, I'm aware, and I don't need your validation. Women can sense it instantly. They feel it in your eye contact, in your tone, in the stillness of your body. It's the calm intensity that makes her lean in, that makes her heartbeat change without her knowing why. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." That's where true presence begins, in stillness. A Stoic man doesn't let his thoughts wander to what's next or what went wrong. He's fully in the moment. And because his attention isn't divided, his energy feels heavier, denser, magnetic. That's why presence is so powerful. It's rare. Most people are never really here. Think about how most men act around women. They're attracted to fidgeting, talking too much, glancing at their phone, thinking about what to say next. All that noise kills energy. But the man who can stay grounded, who can pause before speaking, who can simply look at her with calm confidence, he stands out without trying. His silence feels charged. His focus feels like pressure. And that pressure is what makes her weak. Epictetus wrote, "Men are disturbed, not by things, but by the view which they take of them." A Stoic man applies that to presence. He doesn't overreact to external energy, he controls how he receives it. When she's nervous, he stays calm. When she flirts, he doesn't rush. When she tests him, he doesn't crack. That control creates polarity. He becomes the stable frame in a world full of emotional movement, and that steadiness draws her in like gravity. Presence also means attention, real attention. When you're with her, you listen fully. You're not planning your next words. You're watching, noticing, feeling. She can tell when your focus is genuine. That's what makes her feel seen. And when a woman feels truly seen, she softens. Her guard drops. That's the moment attraction turns into connection. Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." That's why presence works, because it's the opposite of distraction. Your focus is a gift, and when you give it intentionally, it carries weight. She starts to associate your presence with calm, with safety, with desire. Presence doesn't mean dominance. It means control. Control over your attention, your breath, your reactions. You don't need to perform. You don't need to impress. You just need to be. Because the man who can be still when everyone else is trying too hard becomes unforgettable. Here's the truth. She doesn't remember every word you said, but she remembers how your presence made her feel. She remembers the quiet tension in your gaze, the steadiness in your voice, the way you made the world slow down for a second. That's real power, not noise, not effort, but presence. And when you master it, you'll realize something: you don't chase attraction anymore. You create it just by existing. If you've ever noticed how your calm energy changed the entire mood of a room, drop a comment below. I felt that. Stay tuned. The next part shows how emotional detachment doesn't kill connection. It makes it unbreakable. Number 9. Detachment that drives her crazy. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring correctly. Most men think detachment means being cold, distant, or uninterested, but true Stoic detachment is emotional control at its highest level. It's the ability to stay centered no matter what she does. When you master that, something interesting happens. She can feel your calm, but she can't move it. And that drives her a little crazy in the best way possible. Take David, 58, a retired police officer from Arizona. After his divorce, he started dating Emily, 51, a strong-willed interior designer. They had chemistry instantly, long talks inside, jokes, quiet moments that felt right. But when Emily's emotions spiked, she'd test him, canceling plans last minute, pulling away, then coming back like nothing happened. In the past, David would have reacted, asking questions, showing frustration, trying to fix it. But this time he didn't. When Emily went silent, he stayed calm. When she got emotional, he listened, but didn't defend. When she tried to draw him into her storm, he simply said, "Take your time," and went about his day. That unbothered steadiness flipped the dynamic. A few days later, she messaged, "You're too calm. I can't figure you out." That's what detachment does. It turns emotional uncertainty into attraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." That's the essence of masculine detachment. The waves are her emotions, unpredictable, powerful, beautiful. You don't fight them. You let them crash, knowing they can't move the rock. She feels that steadiness, and it creates a deep subconscious trust. She starts to crave your calm because it gives her a sense of safety she can't find anywhere else. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." And that's exactly how detachment works in relationships. You stop trying to control how she feels, how she responds, or how she behaves. You only control your reaction. That's your freedom, and ironically, that's what makes her feel addicted to you. Because when she can't emotionally control you, she becomes emotionally drawn to you. There's something incredibly magnetic about a man who doesn't chase emotional validation. When you can love deeply but stay composed, she feels the paradox. You're both emotionally available and untouchable. That tension is rare. It's the difference between a man who reacts out of fear and a man who responds from strength. Detachment doesn't mean silence all the time. It means measured presence. You show up, you connect, but you don't lose yourself in her mood. You stay rooted in your own peace. You still care, but your care doesn't come from desperation, it comes from choice. That's the kind of energy women can't manipulate. David told me later, when I stopped reacting, she started chasing clarity. She began asking me what I was thinking, why I wasn't bothered. That's when he realized the secret. The less he tried to control her emotions, the more control he had over the dynamic. The Stoics understood that power isn't dominance, it's composure. You don't need to out-talk, out-argue, or outreact anyone. You just have to stay unmoved in your truth. That kind of emotional stability turns confusion into desire because she feels something rare, your peace, her chaos, and the irresistible pull between them. So next time she pulls back or tries to provoke a reaction, take a breath. Don't chase, don't argue, just stay still. That silence, that control, that's what she'll remember. That's what will keep her thinking about you long after the moment has passed. If you've ever seen her energy change, the moment you stopped reacting, drop a comment below. I've seen this. Stay with me, because in the next part you'll learn how to end at the peak, leaving her remembering you long after you're gone. Number 10. Be the man she can't get over. Here's the truth. Every woman has that one man she never forgets. Not because he said all the right things or because he gave her everything she wanted, but because he made her feel something no one else did. He left an imprint, not through effort, but through energy. That man wasn't perfect. He was just unforgettable, calm, mysterious, detached, and completely grounded in who he was. Being the man she can't get over isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about emotional impact. When a man operates from deep self-control, he becomes rare. And what's rare becomes impossible to replace. She may move on physically, but emotionally she'll keep comparing every man after you to the way she felt in your presence. That's how real attraction works. It lingers where logic ends. To become that man, you need to embody the one thing women can't fake: authentic masculine peace. You're not the storm, you're the calm after it. You're not chasing attention, you command it effortlessly through stillness, confidence, and intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And the man she can't forget is the one whose thoughts are disciplined, not desperate. He doesn't react. He observes. He doesn't compete for validation. He chooses where to give his attention. That restraint builds an aura, something she can't quite define but can't stop thinking about. Your silence becomes her question. Your calm becomes her craving. She feels drawn not because you filled her world, but because you left space for her imagination to do the work. Women don't get addicted to men who give them everything. They get addicted to the man who gives them something to feel, a mix of curiosity, security, and challenge. That combination is powerful because it engages both her mind and emotions. One moment she feels safe, the next she's intrigued. You never let her fully figure you out, and that keeps her emotionally hooked. The Stoics would call this controlled intensity, the balance between warmth and distance. You're emotionally available but not dependent. You give without losing your edge. You care, but you never beg for care in return. That balance makes you magnetic. It's what separates temporary attraction from lasting impact. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Most men waste their presence by giving it to everyone. The unforgettable man gives it selectively. He makes every word, every gesture, every glance count. That's what sticks in her mind, the feeling that she never really had him completely, even when she was close. So be that man, the man who leaves memories instead of explanations, the man whose calm makes her feel safe, but whose mystery makes her restless, the man who doesn't need to be chased because his presence is enough to haunt her long after he's gone. That's not arrogance, that's mastery. It's what happens when you stop trying to be wanted and start becoming remembered. Because in the end, the man she can't get over isn't the one who stayed the longest. It's the one who stayed in her mind forever. What you've just learned are the 10 timeless Stoic principles that make a man unforgettable: calm, energy, emotional control, silence, mystery, and presence. These aren't tricks or tactics, they're disciplines. When you master them, you stop chasing validation and start commanding respect, attention, and desire effortlessly. If you're ready to take this deeper, to master your emotions, sharpen your masculine presence, and understand attraction on a psychological level, join our Stoic Men membership. Inside, you'll get exclusive lessons, mindset training, and real strategies to help you become the man who leads, not reacts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. New videos drop every day to help you strengthen your mind, your presence, and your relationships. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.